Greetings, good day. Here at Northworthy Sagas and Stories, well, by definition, we tell sagas and stories. And, well, as Tia here, I've already told quite a few here on the channel. But some of you might be interested in how I first developed an interest in stories from the Viking period and the Dark Ages. And in fact, this goes back to my childhood. Yeah, when I was about 6 or 7 years old, then I read Myths of the Norsemen by Roger Lancelyn Green, with some excellent retellings of the Viking myths about the gods and goddesses, from the beginning of the world to its destruction on the day of Ragnarok. And so, I always remembered those, always stayed in my imagination. And also, of course, around about the same time, I read Rosemary Sutcliffe's Beowulf Dragon Slayer, another fine retelling. And because of that, well, when I was in my early 20s, a friend of mine was doing his dissertation at Trent Polytechnic about the Coppergate dig up in York, which formed the basis for the display at the Jorvik Viking Centre, where Niall and I used to work for many years. And Egil's worked up there as well, of course. And also, well, after that, because my interest had at this point been very much taken by Viking history, visiting York and its fine bookshops, not long after I discovered historical reenactment. And this was with the late Dark Age Society, called Regia Anglorum, and they're probably the best reenactment society in the country for portraying the warriors and the culture of this country on the eve of the Norman conquest and in the years that followed. Mind you, in more recent years, well, we've also done migration period events with groups such as Jorvik Vikings, or as they're now known, Ulfr's Lith, portraying everyday life in an early pagan Anglo-Saxon settlement, Westow Anglo-Saxon village. And also with Wolf Hairdenus, they portray the elite warriors of the period, King Redwald and his retinue. Now, being at Westow Anglo-Saxon village, that made me rethink the idea of storytelling. Because, as I've said, having done it for a living for many years, being a historical interpreter for about 16 years in total, people like Niall and myself, we had our party pieces, certain stories and poems that we were very used to telling. So did Egil, and we'd done these so many times we knew them off by heart. However, doing Westow, now that was different, because an early Anglo-Saxon settlement, well, that meant really that to have suitable tales there, rather than simply doing a reduced version of Beowulf or telling Viking stories with Anglo-Saxon names. We really needed something that would have been told on that spot in the period between the 5th and 7th centuries AD. And I began by learning the tale of Wayland the Smith. And after that, well, I did stories such as Siegmund, father of Sigurd in Volsunga Saga, and stories like Heoden and Hild, the Frisians and the fight at Finnsburg, and many others. And so this meant that every time I went to Westow, I was determined to do new stories each and every time. In fact, this last summer, I did Gaius and Mathilde and Walderay for the first time ever, and was very pleased to do those. Well, I was very keen on doing more stories from the migration period of the Germanic tales, and did a variety of others, Siegmund, and he, of course, in Volsunga Saga, he's the father of Sigurd the Dragon Slayer, and other tales as well, Heoden and Hild, Offer of Angeln, and the fight at Finnsburg, and Hengist and the Jutes. Many tales. This last visit to Westow, of course, I did 2 new tales, Gaius and Mathilde, also Walderay. Very pleased to do those. Because like the others, well, what's especially pleasing is telling these stories in the same space in which they would have been told 14 centuries, or even 15 centuries ago now, knowing that these tales, well, were told and retold many times between the inhabitants of that settlement and all the others in the Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavian and Germanic worlds. And, well, really, from something that's first started by way of reenactment as a hobby, and then doing it professionally, and then pursuing it again on a reenactment level in more recent years, well, all I can say when it comes to storytelling is simply to start doing it. And, well, if you're performing in front of a live audience, or even at times such as this, then I always say, by far, the most important thing is to start at the beginning, finish at the end, and try to do your best with whatever comes in between. And also, to have an interest in whatever it is you're talking about. And in our case, of course, we talk about the history and the culture and the stories as well. So really, it's what appeals to you most. And, well, for now, I hope that's been useful and enlightening for you. For now, farewell to you all. Thank you.
Oh, give us a like.